Happy Monday, boys and girls. Really lovely for you to join me today. I hope that your weekend has been great, that you've been up to lots of things at home, and that you're continuing to wash your hands for 20 seconds, singing happy birthday twice. What can you do? But it's so lovely to see you all. We're going to be starting from the start here with the Phantom Tollbooth. It's right here with me. Now, if you're someone who really wants to just start off where we left off, absolutely no problem at all. But I thought I'd start from the start if anyone would just like to take a chapter a day, tune in and hear what's happening here. And it also gives you a chance to maybe sort of listen with your mum or dad, maybe granny or granddad, whoever you're with at home. So let's begin. The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. Now, I'm going to put up a picture of the map here and just have a little look at it, and we'll have a wee chat about that first. Chapter 1, Milo. There was once a boy named Milo who didn't always know what to do with himself. Not just sometimes, but always. When he was in school, he longed to be out, and when he was out, he longed to be in. On the way, he thought about coming home, and coming home, he thought about going. Wherever he was, he wished he was somewhere else, and when he got there, he wondered why he'd bothered. Nothing really interested him, least of all the things that should have. "It seems to me that almost everything is a waste of time," he remarked one day as he walked dejectedly home from the school. "I can't see the point in learning to solve useless problems, or subtracting turnips from turnips, or knowing where Ethiopia is, or how to spell February." And since no one bothered to explain otherwise, he regarded the process of seeking knowledge as the greatest waste of time. As he and his unhappy thoughts hurried along, for while he was never anxious to be where he was going, he liked to get there as quickly as possible. It seemed a great wonder that to the world, which was so large, could sometimes feel so small and empty. "And worst of all," he continued sadly, "there's nothing for me to do, nowhere I'd care to go, and hardly anything worth seeing." He punctuated this last thought with such a deep sigh that a house sparrow singing nearby stopped and rushed home to be with his family. Without stopping or looking up, he rushed past the buildings and busy shops that lined the street, and in a few minutes reached home, dashed through the hall, hopped into the lift, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and off again. Opened the door of the flat, rushed into his room, flopped dejectedly into a chair, and grumbled softly, "Another long afternoon." He looked glumly at all the things he owned, the books that were too much trouble to read, the tools he'd never learned to use, the small electric car he hadn't driven for months, or was it years? And the hundreds of other games and toys and bats and balls and bits and pieces scattered around him. And then, on the far side of the room, he noticed something he had certainly never seen before. Who could possibly have left such an enormous package, and such a strange one? For while it was not quite square, it was definitely round, and it was larger than almost anything that he'd ever seen. Attached to one side was a bright blue envelope which simply said, "For Milo, who has plenty of time." Of course, if you've ever received a surprise package, you can imagine how puzzled and excited Milo was. And if you've never received one, well, pay close attention, because someday you might. "I don't think it's my birthday," he puzzled, "and Christmas must be months away. And I haven't been outstandingly good or even good at all." He had to admit this even to himself. "Probably I won't like it anyway, but since I don't know where it came from, I can't possibly send it back." He thought about it for a while and then opened the envelope, but just to be polite. "One genuine Tollbooth," it stated, and then it went on, "easily assembled at home and for use by those who have never travelled to lands beyond. Beyond what? Thought Milo, and he continued to read. This package contains the following items. 1 genuine Tollbooth to be erected according to the directions. 3 precautionary signs to be used in a precautionary manner. Assorted coins for use in paying tolls. 1 map up to date and carefully drawn by master cartographers, depicting natural and man-made features. 1 book of rules and traffic regulations which may not be bent or broken, and we know that comes in handy later on. And in smaller letters at the bottom it included, results are not guaranteed, but if not perfectly satisfied, your wasted time will be refunded. Following the instructions, which told him to cut here and lift here and fold that back all around, he soon had the Tollbooth unpacked and set up on its stand. He fitted the windows in place and attached the roof, which extended out on both sides, and fastened on the coin box. It was very much like the Tollbooths he'd seen on family trips, except of course it was much smaller and purple. And I wonder, girls and boys at home, you could maybe have a little look with mum or dad, or whoever's at home with you on the internet, and you could have a look up and see what different Tollbooths look like, just to get a wee image in your head. The sign said, Slow down, approaching Tollbooth. Please have your fare ready and have your destination in mind. And slowly he unfolded the map. As the announcement stated, it was a beautiful map, in many colours showing principal roads, rivers and seas, towns, cities, mountains and valleys, intersections and detours, and sites of outstanding interest, most beautiful and historic. The only trouble was that Milo had never heard of any of the places indicated, and even the names sounded most peculiar. I don't think there really is such a country, he concluded. Well, if it doesn't matter anyway, he closed his eyes and poked a finger at the map. Dictionopolis, read Milo slowly, and he saw that what his finger had chosen. Oh well, I might as well go there anyway. He walked across the room and dusted the car carefully. Then, taking the map and rule book with him, he hopped in and, for lack of anything better to do, drove slowly up to the Tollbooth. As he deposited his coin and rolled past, he remarked wistfully, I do hope this is an interesting game. Otherwise, the afternoon will be so terribly dull. Now, girls and boys, there's lots of things to have a little look here at. I'm going to put the map back up again. Here it goes. So, that's the end of chapter 1. I wonder, do we have a joke to tell? So, I'm going to end this chapter and this episode with a joke. I know that some of you find this funny. Mason, I really hope you're watching because I know you laugh at anything I say anyway. So, why did the student throw his watch out the window? Because he wanted to see time fly. I'll see you next time, girls and boys. Take care. Bye.